Welcome back. You're watching Newsx, and I'm Vaishali Kohli. Iran has witnessed its largest protests in nearly 2 weeks, with huge crowds marching through Tehran and several other cities, intensifying pressure on the clerical leadership despite a nationwide internet blackout and a continuing security crackdown. The unrest began on December 28 after Tehran's historic bazaar shutdown following the collapse of the rial to record lows. What started as economic anger has now evolved into coordinated street protests across more than 100 cities and towns in all 31 provinces, including large, peaceful gatherings in Tehran and Mashhad. Iran Human Rights said at least 45 protesters, including 8 minors, have been killed so far, with more than 2,200 arrests. Videos from across the country show large crowds marching on major roads, chanting against the clerical establishment. The protests mark the 12th consecutive day of unrest and gathered momentum after exiled opposition figure Reza Pahlavi called on Iranians to take to the streets and announced plans for further demonstrations. Meanwhile, an internet monitoring group reported that Iran was in the midst of a nationwide internet blackout. I have Mr. Robinder Sachdev. He's a foreign affairs expert joining me on the broadcast. Mr. Sachdev, welcome. And what a year, Mr. Sachdev, if you look at how the world is really shaping up, the developments that are taking across the world. What a start to the new year, really. How do you see the turmoil in Iran?
Thank you so much. No, absolutely, yes. I mean, 2026 has kicked off, I would say, with an explosive start in a way. And this year does seem it will be turbocharged affairs in international affairs and in countries across the continents. The situation in Iran certainly is again bubbling over. The situation in Iran is no doubt dire, it seems. Uh, the last protests which were there were in the year 2022, right? Some large number of protests when a woman was killed by the moral police for not wearing a hijab, or the situation developed and she ended up that way. Uh, Iran seems to have been simmering. And now what we are seeing is again that simmer is coming to a boil. This time, however, it is said that, or it seems that the protests are different, are more, I would say, are more threatening to the regime. The point is, okay, the protest started uh, about 2 weeks ago, essentially due to the weak, crumbling economy of Iran, inflation going up, the value of the currency falling like anything. It initially started with some, shopkeepers in the markets of Tehran protesting against the devaluing of the Iranian currency, and then it has snowballed. Uh, it has snowballed from definitely, yes, there is the economic, I mean, it's driven by economic unrest or economic hardships, but it has now also translated into anti-regime protests. And the reason that is happening is because there seems to be perhaps not much hope among the people that any change will come in their life situations. Okay, that the regime is continuing its ways, whatever it be. The regime is incapable of handling the current situation between the clergy and the Islamic leaders and the government. There is no hope, no chance, uh, no possibility, it seems, of improvement in the conditions of the people or economic conditions. Primarily, it's driven by that. And when the future seems, there is no light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. That is driving a lot of these protests right now. And of course, within Iran, there are dissident groups, there are political opponents to the regime, There's separatist movements up there in Kurdistan, down here in Balochistan of Iran. And in all of this mix, definitely Israeli agents and Israeli agencies and agents are stirring the pot inside Iran. They are fostering opposition to the regime. So a combination, it's a cocktail, it's a cocktail which seems to have built up in Iran.
You know, Mr. Sachdev, Trump does not cease to stop putting pressure on every country, and his pressure tactics are rather alarming. But he's also issued a warning to Iran. How do you see him working out, or rather not working out, helping work out the situation in Iran?
No, certainly Trump has been warning, and there are two elements there. One is Israel. Israel wants to, decapitate the Islamic regime. Israel is very much is trying its best, has been trying, and therein we have America, which also is in opposition to the Iranian regime. Israel on its own can definitely strike and take some steps against Iran militarily, you can say, or even covert, which it's already doing. But Israel also is encouraging and forcefully encouraging America to take some radical steps. Now, with Trump, also there's another element I see now, and that's what you mentioned, and we've been seeing it. The son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, I think he's in London in exile. He's been calling for, overthrow the regime. Now, there are two things to it. One, I don't know how much currency the son of the Shah holds in Iran presently, but could be, but probably not much. But on the other hand, talking of Trump, I can very well see a nexus developing between Reza Pahlavi and the Americans. America has worked with his father. I mean, he was their partner and they were in cahoots. So there is a very high possibility, not only a possibility, it would be, I think, a fact that the Americans are also working with Reza Pahlavi, and then now Trump could see maybe that he has an alternative figure to bring back into Iran in case they are looking at a regime change. So Reza Pahlavi is in contention, I would think, could be in contention by the Americans, but on the other hand, the Americans may decide that no, this guy is a lightweight, he will not be able to pull through, then they would be looking at some alternatives. But essentially, what they are driving towards is a regime change in Iran.
All right, Mr. Sachdev, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. And now